Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon Rock-type Pokemon Nacli, its uncommon evolution Naclstack, and its rare final evolution Garganacl, the three collectively known as the Rock Salt Pokémon. While the blocky forms might make them look a bit silly to some, there is no doubt that the members of the Nacli family are potent brutes that can make good use of their physical forms to batter away others with notable physical might.
Nacli have short, stout forms with a single square-shaped main body of beige salt, with a single pair of rectangular glowing orange eyes in their front. The top of their body is covered in a globular mass of beige and brown striped salt, with a single chipped rectangular block of salt that is secreted at an angle to the rest of their form. Their evolved form, Naclstack, have more quadrupedal-like forms to them, with a series of salt blocks with colored layers comprising a set of 4 blocky feet, with a single stone toe each that they use for locomotion. The rest of their body has a bit of a lumpy form in the back, but with a clear blocky torso and head in the front, their eyes having taken on a more complex blocky shape in this state. Their final evolution, Garganacl, have much larger bipedal bodies with long sturdy legs and arms with 3 square-tipped fingers on each of their hands to manipulate objects with, their colors changing from white to light and then dark brown as they get closer to their torso. The torso of their body itself is a large block-like form like a pyramid from the base of the legs over their shoulders and behind their head, which itself features a pyramid-like brown cap and small glowing eyes that stand out from the rest of their body color.
The members of the Nacli family, while falling into the obvious category of animated stone in terms of their overall physical form, are a bit different from other rock types because of the specific material that is used to construct their physical bodies. In their case, that material is salt.
While this might not seem to have a huge impact on what they are capable of in the field, it affects their behavior in ways that are still being hotly studied by researchers in the field. Unlike most other types of rocky Pokemon, especially in comparison to Pokemon from the Geodude and Roggenrola families, these creatures are actually fairly easygoing and show very little aggression towards others that are in their vicinity, instead choosing to lounge around outside in the presence of caverns and only confronting anything that dares to attack them. This might be a consequence of the ways in which they are powered, as these beasts gain their powers and consciousness as a consequence of intense chemical reactions that occur in the cores of their salt bodies that generate energy, not too dissimilar from the energy core that lays in the heart of Pokemon like Boldore and Gigalith. This energy core is still being hotly studied, but similar to those creatures, it is believed to form deep underground in layers of salt rock, with Nacli and the evolutions only being uncovered due to salt mining in places like the Paldean region. This can give them some notable advantages in and out of battle, as while they are often hunted for their salt content, they can spend less energy lunging out and thus can show more direct strength when push comes to shove, even if they might not be as offensively strong as their Unovan relatives. That being said, they do have some special defensive utility that can be taken advantage of alongside this sturdy form, and the capacity to occasionally exude energy to repel status debuffs, possessing Sturdy as a possible base ability and Clear Body as a hidden ability. This is especially seen in the signature base ability Purifying Salt, which protects them against status conditions and reduces the damage they take from ghost-type attacks, and thus they can be very hard to take down if they can't somehow be outlasted in a fight. In terms of stats, in the case of Garganacl, it can be said these beasts perform poorly in mobility and special offense as one might expect, but they at least have sturdy defenses to work with, as well as notable physical strength and plenty of stamina, the base HP and defense stats being above average for a fully evolved rock-type Pokemon, and can often weather noble offense while they take their time to make the most of their potent and unique mix of moves that they gain access to naturally. While Nacli are not the strongest of creatures in their initial evolutionary state, they do have decent physical defenses that can help them resist damage effectively from the types of Pokemon that typically occur in their habitats, and thus do not seem to show much fear towards others if they are not given a direct reason to. This has been made especially evident from human interactions, as these creatures were valued in olden times because they are known to offer parts of their salt bodies as gifts to those that seem in need of them to survive. And given that salt is something that all living creatures need to survive, this has made them a valuable and free commodity for those sorts of minor services in the process. They are even known to leave trails of clean, sparkling salt behind them as they move, given they have to scrape their forms physically against the ground in order to move in any way, and thus can be easy to find as long as one knows what they are looking for. This doesn't seem to be a problem for them, as they actively regenerate their salty bodies from elements in the ground below them and the air above them, though how they are able to do so in quick fashion is still the subject of much inquiry. Regardless, these creatures are great to have around as pets and the like, and given they don't require any special gimmicks to evolve fully in time, they can make for great partners for any aspiring rock-type specialist in need of a solid, balanced fighter to work with.
Naclstack are a noble improvement over their pre-evolved form, because as soon as they manage to evolve into this state, they gain the capacity to use more than just their bodies to attack. learning their family's signature Salt Cure attack immediately after evolving, and making them a far bigger threat than Nacli could ever be.
With this attack, these creatures can somehow use advanced energy-based powers unique to them to cause salt crystals to start to painfully grow on the outside of a potential target. And while this initial attack isn't very powerful, it can cause large degrees of repeated damage over time and cannot be removed by any normal means other than switching out. This is especially a problem for water and steel types, as the attack will rapidly dehydrate and corrode them, respectively, dealing even more damage than normal over the same time frame. In the wild, these beasts mainly use this power to dehydrate and cure prey, as they actively feed on the salt content of others and are thus known to be active predators in their native territory, with this power helping them to demobilize potential prey and make up for their otherwise lackluster movement speeds. If they need to defend themselves from afar, these creatures can also modify some basic attacks like Rock Throw, compressing their bodies in order to shoot out hardened pellets of salt with enough force to blast right through an iron sheet, giving them some serious offensive power that Nacli sadly lack. With all this said though, these creatures can still be interacted with safely as long as they are sure they are not being approached by an actual threat, and thus make for good partners, even if their appearances might be a bit silly to some.
When Naclstack managed to evolve into Garganacl, their bodies and powers change noticeably as they acquire a much larger, more humanoid form that aids them greatly and changes the sort of moves they can actually learn naturally.
For one thing, the acquisition of a larger body and arms allows these creatures to learn the Hammer Arm attack immediately after evolving, and they can be taught the Block, Wide Guard, and Rock Blast moves with a bit of artificial help. Additionally, as they grow and develop, they can acquire the Rock Tomb attack in place of the Smackdown attack their pre-evolutions earn, and can even get access to an Explosion attack late in life, though they lose access to the Iron Defense technique for some reason if not taught to them before evolution. Their balanced defenses and strong physical strength aid them greatly as well, as evolution grants them a significant increase to their base attack stat, and allows them to make the most of moves like Recover as well to constitute a potent wall that can strike back with noble force in any confrontation, though it is known that the base speed stat does not increase at all in evolution. However, even with all this added power to them, these creatures are generally considered to be a benign presence in their native lands, even if they are slightly more aggressive than their pre-evolved forms. Their massive bodies are often the target of Pokemon that enjoy licking them for nutrients, and while they don't usually mind this, it is often better to at least ask their permission first before committing to it. It is further known that these creatures are distinct from both other rock types and their own kind because they have special organic compounds developing naturally in their salty bodies that can be used as a curative to help promote the immune system. If these beasts choose to rub their limbs together over someone that has been wounded, the application of their salt can accelerate the healing process and help said wounds close up almost immediately. It is still not entirely certain how this power works, but it has made them a focus of medical research for a great time now, with the hopes of eventually being able to use their salt to foster greater treatments for medical conditions and injuries alike.
These little blockheads might not seem like that much to worry about in the wild, and for the most part they can be safely avoided, but they're also not worth getting into a confrontation with if you don't know how to handle them properly. Nacli are a heck of a lot cuter than they have any right to be as far as I'm concerned, and they tend to be really easy to raise for most. It does take time for them to make the most of their salty forms for offense, but their bodies are well armored enough at a young age to make them perfect for living in habitats where physical brawlers reign supreme. Naclstack might not be all that much faster than the pre-evolved form despite the addition of legs to them, but they can still make for quite the obstacle if you're stuck using water and steel types on them to try and take them down quickly. The Salt Cure attack might not be all that powerful initially, but its extremely corrosive nature can help whittle down opponents of any type with ease, and deal steady damage to anything that gets caught in the path of their actions. Compared to the rest of their family, Garganacl are literal giants that tower over most people with their incredible physical forms, and given that they can take both physical and even special hits very well, their imposing size more than enough as enough defense to back up the intimidation factor. Even so, their greater power does little to change their personality all that much, and are thus relatively easygoing for the most part, and in turn can make for great offensive fighters that can swing their salty bodies around to deal massive damage to anyone that can't get out of the way of their attacks in time.
Though they might look a bit awkward to some in terms of their general form, the members of the Nacli family are still viable fighters that make great use of their natural forms to make even water and steel type Pokemon wary of getting too close to them. They might be just a tad limited in terms of overall type variety in their moveset, but their potent stats and steadfast natures can nonetheless make them worthy partners to seek and work alongside of in the middle of arid environments.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure to keep to their sides and always ask permission before taking any part of their body for your own needs. They might be calm and understanding, but agitate them enough and they'll gladly make a salt block out of you in perhaps the most horrific way possible in turn.
Thank you all for watching this video. It always brings me great joy to see others enjoying the work I do to try and make the world of Pokemon and the fascinating creatures that lay inside of it feel as real as they possibly can. If you really enjoy my work, please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe, as I always do my best to respond to any and all comments that are left on my videos. In addition, if you wish to learn more about my work and help support it, you can find links to my Patreon page, as well as email and other contact information to my work on DeviantArt in the video description down below. Furthermore, you can find a link to my Discord server there as well if you'd like to get a first glimpse at what videos are coming up next and converse with other fans of the world of Pokemon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.